The hell with MSNBC.
As an elected official, you are on the ground with your folks and you appreciate this journey. I agree with the mayor. I'm not, the thoughts and prayers, I'm so beyond that nonsense, the lie of that. Because what we have are people who continue to stand in the way of actually doing something to stop the violence against their own kids. It is amazing to me. We watch young kids die in classrooms and now in church, and all we get are thoughts and prayers.
Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Hey. Why this beat so cold?
We will make America proud again. When you try to we will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, you just can't make this up. This lady here, once again, breaks the internet. A lot of people are pissed off with this lady once again. I just, when things like this happen, I don't even know, especially what's going on down there. I tell you, people ought to be walked out. People have failed, man. You know, a disgraceful governor, just incompetent leadership down there. You know, but the first thing they run onto the fake news media is blame the gun and blame Trump and Trump. You know, just the same un-American rhetoric. This foreign agent. You know, Somalia is home. You know, this brother lover. You know, I'm telling you, they ought to revoke her citizenship and deport her. But that's what I think ought to happen. You know, involved in some of the biggest scandals, the biggest fraud. This lady here, they ought to walk this heifer out, man. I'm telling you. But you just can't make this up. So let's just go get into it. You know. But we want to send our prayers, love, and condolences down there in Minneapolis. You know. Here we are, man.
I mean, that is a question that we've asked ourselves when Columbine happened back when I was in high school. We've asked ourselves that question when we saw little babies being slaughtered in Sandy Hook. We continue to ask ourselves that question. What I can tell you is that we collectively have a solution. We know that when we allow as a country for guns to be accessible to people in the easy way that it is in the United States, we continue to have these kind of tragedies. When we do not collectively as a community in the United States address mental health illness, when we don't see these children and communities that are impacted and, you know, look for signs that tell us there is something wrong. We know that the assailant in this tragedy had a YouTube page where he was posting, you know, documenting the kind of insanity that unfolded today. Somebody saw that, and what we want to change is our perspective. We want to be able to become a country that sees images like that and alerts someone, because if that would have happened today, two beautiful angels would still be with us. A whole community would not be devastated, and these families would still have their loved ones going home to them tonight.
Yeah, you just can't even imagine what those parents are feeling tonight. And as you noted, I mean, it's every parent's worst nightmare. And when you look at this in terms of
how they do it, CNN, then MSNBC, one from another. You know, just to lecture and say that Americans need their Second Amendment rights taken. I tell you, they need to revoke this heifer's citizenship, and they need to deport her. I'm telling you, this mess shouldn't be in Congress. I'm telling you. But CNN, MSNBC, the hell with the fake news media.
Thank you all for having us. And I would say our community does, in many ways, appreciate the prayers and the support that we are getting, the outpouring of support. What I feel is the most tragic as a mother, as a member of this community, is that the fact that these, two angels were doing one of the most innocent things we want our kids to do, which is to sit in prayer. And they were assassinated by an assailant who did get access to a deadly weapon that did now shatter the lives of two, will forever impact the lives of 17 others, and will forever have a lasting impact, not just on our entire community, but the Catholic community within Minneapolis. This is the first time they have felt targeted, and it is important for us to remember that these tragedies can be avoided. We talked about thoughts and prayers and taking action when Columbine happened, back when I was in high school. We talked about the devastation of Sandy Hook when I was...
See, and you see, they go on and repeat the exact same script. From one fake news network to another. The exact same tired script. The same thing, word for word. Word for word. I'm just, and then they blame the gun. It's the deadly weapon's fault. It's Trump's fault. Remember, because Trump ran on this, Trump ran on the second. Trump wants you to have your guns. Trump, What's that Democrat we were just seeing on there earlier that was saying that? Y'all are a disgrace, man. But like I say, just exposing it in real time. From one fake news network to another. Same exact script.
A young mom, and we are still talking about it, and I cannot imagine the heartbreak that these families must feel knowing that they had just dropped off their babies to go to school and to start their day praying, and to be called within moments after they had dropped their children off and be told that not only some of their children were dead, others were hospitalized, and their whole community and their lives will forever be changed. We have to take action.
Congressman, what does that action look like? The last time that there was a gun prevention bill was in 2022. President Biden signed that into law. It was bipartisan in nature. But this administration, just last month, it was reported in Reuters that the Trump administration slashed federal funding for gun violence prevention. I'm going to read something to you. The Trump administration has terminated more than half of all federal funding for gun violence prevention programs in the U.S., cutting $158 million in grants. A DOJ official told Reuters the gun violence grants were eliminated because they, quote, no longer effectuate the program's goals or agency's priorities. It feels like the federal government is not coming to save the children of America from things like this. It feels like on the state level, on the local level, something is going to have to change. People are going to have to be more creative to figure out how to stop these kinds of things. Do you agree with that?
I do, but we also have to understand that we live in a union. In Minnesota, we have strong gun laws, but Indiana is not that far away from us. And so we have to recognize as, people who live in the United States, a community like Minneapolis or just the state of Minnesota taking action does not prevent our neighbor from coming and harming one of our community members. And so we have to collectively think of ourselves as people who collectively reside in this country, who are impacted by the decisions that are, the lack of decisions or decisions that are made in different states, because we are in one country, and so there has to be federal laws that are introduced that safeguard life in this country. Simone said something earlier that sits with me forever, which is, we have this problem uniquely as a country, because the rest of the world, once they saw there might be a problem, once they got their first taste of that heartbreak of losing their children in a senseless way, they said no more, not again. And so in our country, in order for continuously make excuses on why we are not going to take a collective action on a federal level that collectively addresses this problem is beyond me. And I want the mothers, you know, in this country to rise up and to recognize that for the love of the Second Amendment, for the love of our gun culture, we have to have a greater love for our kids. We have to have a greater love for the safety of our communities. Something has to prevail because the rest of the world has decided that they love their children way more than they love their ability to have easy access to guns. And we have to get there as well.
You know, I was struck by a lot of the reactions from people, not just in Minneapolis and Minnesota today, but folks on cable news, folks all across the country. And I want to play for you something that Trey Gowdy actually had to say.
It's a sad day in America as tragedy has gripped Minneapolis. And one of the tragic incidents in Minneapolis, a small church called the Annunciation Church at a Catholic school, there was an incident where children lost their lives and many more people were injured. But when a Minnesota congresswoman spoke up about it, well, a lot of people didn't appreciate what she had to say, and she was adding fuel to the fire. Before we get into this story, please. Now, one of the flamethrowers in Minneapolis for a long time has been woke radical Ilhan Omar, and she has made constant disparaging remarks about Christians and Jewish people for a long time. So when on Wednesday morning a violent criminal targeted some small children who were at a church, and obviously the aftermath is tragic as two people lost their lives, two small children actually, and 14 more people were injured, and 3 adults also. It's absolutely heartbreaking, and we don't really want to hear from ideologues who have ginned up extreme rhetoric for a long time. And Ilhan Omar came out and she made a statement, and I'm just going to show you on screen what happened. She said that her thoughts and prayers went out to these children and the families. And she got absolutely blasted because people do not want to hear from her. It is her rhetoric that has actually provoked a lot of this hostile relations between Americans. She has used a divide and conquer strategy for a long time. And her divisive rhetoric in some ways laid the groundwork for tragedy. And although we can't get into the details here, if you just go and look at the identity of this person, going by Robin Westman, and the writings that this person left that have been reported and appear to be belonging to this person, then you get a very strong idea. It's just rife with strong language about Donald Trump, about Israel. And that ties directly to Ilhan Omar because blaming Israel, blaming Christians is something that Ilhan Omar has done for a long time.
Long time.
And when Ilhan Omar comes out and talks about having some kind of solidarity with Christians, we have to be more than a little suspect about her motives. She knows that this looks really bad for her. And instead of just mouthing some rhetoric online, she needs to take responsibility and take action because she has been reckless while in office. She has been actually censored for her language and remarks to Israel. And she has also made a lot of derogatory remarks about Christians. So people don't believe she has good motives. It looks like it was
People want her deported. People want her citizenship revoked. People want her expelled from Congress.
PR crafted statement, and nobody needs her hollow words right now. And you took a look at what she had to say and the fallout of the remarks that I left up on screen. And you tell me, what is your reaction to what she has to say? What would you tell Ilhan Omar? What do you have to say in regards to these parents and the children? Because honestly, a lot of people want her to do more than make hollow remarks about this statement. And if anything, she needs to apologize for ginning up the extreme rhetoric in this country, because it's unacceptable.
It just
and
doesn't
these
stop
radical
with Democrats.
activists,
It doesn't
they need to stop using their strong language about everything. They want to keep Americans on edge, and just honestly, mentally unstable people, they can't take it. They're very sensitive to this. And the radical left knows this. They absolutely know that the most sensitive and unstable people react to their rhetoric, and sometimes violence is going to happen. So, you take a look at the obvious motives in this case, this heartbreaking case, and it looks really bad for ideologues like Ilhan Omar. So